Dear students, this is Keynesian theory of employment and income. So Keynes' book, The General Theory on Employment, Interest and Money, published in the year of 1936, is the most significant work that is given for the development of modern economic theory. And he says how the full employment equilibrium can be determined. So he was against the belief of the classical economist that the free market forces will adjust itself in order to bring full employment equilibrium. He not only criticized classical economists, but he has advocated a general theory on employment and income. So Keynes was of the view that it is in the short period, the capital stock given, capital stock, the number of laborers employed, skill of the laborers, technology, everything remain unchanged. So the starting point of Keynes' theory is the effective demand. So effective demand is nothing but the total money spent on purchase of all the goods produced by the industry. So the entrepreneurs, on receiving this income, distribute it in the form of rent, wages, interest and a profit. So that is called effective demand. So Keynes has used this effective demand. So effective demand denotes the total money spent on consumption good and a investment good. So he has explained Y is equal to C plus I, that is on consumption demand and investment demand. So here he speaks of aggregate demand and aggregate supply. So aggregate demand means all the consumption demand by the individuals and investment demand by the firms and government expenditures plus net exports. So aggregate demand has these four components: consumption demand, investment demand, government expenditure and net exports. That is nothing but export minus import. So aggregate supply is the total money value what the entrepreneurs get by the sale of the total amount of output. The total output is nothing but the national income. So when it is measured in terms of money, the total output, it becomes national income. So total output is equal to the level of employment. So aggregate demand function and aggregate supply function, they both determine the effective demand, that is nothing but where the employment level is determined. So here when he speaks of this aggregate demand, he says consumption expenditure and investment expenditure. So from the demand, the total aggregate demand is important in order to determine the level of employment. The aggregate demand is very important to determine the level of employment according to J.M. Keynes. So here he speaks of two functions, consumption function and investment function. So consumption function nothing but it is determined by the level of income, okay, and marginal propensity to consume. That is, at a certain level of income, how much can be spent on consumption. But when income increases, what happens? People don't spend all the money on consumption. So they spend less than the rise in the income level. Okay, suppose a person's income increases by 1000 rupees, all the 1000 rupees he will not spend on consumption, immediate consumption. Of course, he will increase the consumption expenditure, but not to the rise in the income. He will spend some 500 rupees and 500 rupees can be kept for some other purpose for unforeseen expenditures in the future. Like this is called Keynesian psychological law of consumption. So consumption function depends upon level of income and marginal propensity to consume. Marginal propensity to consume is nothing but a change in the consumption due to a change in income. And investment function. Investment depends upon rate of interest and marginal efficiency of capital. Rate of interest is fixed between money supply and money demand. Here Keynes takes up the word liquidity preference to explain money demand. So money is preferred by the people for three purposes: for transaction motive, precautionary motive and a speculative motive. So rate of interest is fixed on the point at where this money supply and money demand intersects. Money is demanded for three purposes, that is called a liquidity preference by J.M. Keynes. And marginal efficiency of capital. Marginal efficiency of capital depends on rate of interest and marginal efficiency of capital, isn't it? So that is nothing but that depends upon two things, that is prospective yield by the capital asset and the supply price of capital. Marginal efficiency of capital depends upon what? Two things, that is prospective yield from the capital stock and the supply price of capital. Consumption function and the investment function. Consumption function depends upon level of income and marginal propensity to consume. Investment function depends upon rate of interest and marginal efficiency of capital. Rate of interest can be determined by the money supply and money demand, and marginal efficiency of capital can be determined by the marginal, that is prospective yield by the capital and the supply price of capital. This diagram explains aggregate demand function. Aggregate demand in the beginning increases when employment increases. Okay, so when income increases, people spend more money. That is why this increases at an increasing rate. After some time, what happens? Income increases. It is because employment is also increasing. Income increases, but aggregate demand does not increase. It increases at a decreasing rate. Listen carefully. So this is the diagram of aggregate demand. So aggregate demand price increases or decreases to the volume of employment. So aggregate demand increases in the beginning at an increasing rate. After reaching some point, it increases at a decreasing rate. So that is when this demand increases, employment increases, so income increases. When income increases, people spend more. So again further employment increases, income increases, but the expenditure is not to that much of level of increase in income. That is why aggregate demand function in the beginning increases at an increasing rate and then increases at a decreasing rate. This is what Keynes says. But whereas this aggregate supply function, this is an increasing function. So here aggregate demand in the beginning increases at an increasing rate and then increases at a decreasing rate. But aggregate supply function, it is an increasing function. So what is this aggregate supply? Aggregate supply is the expected money of the entrepreneurs by the sale of goods and services at a price. We call it aggregate supply price. So what the amount the entrepreneurs will receive by the sale of all the output produced by them. That is nothing but consumption expenditure plus private saving plus this is what? Tax payments, net tax payments by the government. So what is this net tax payments? So when we pay the taxes to the government, from the whole amount it has to be reduced. What are to be reduced? Transfer payments by the government, subsidies. Okay, you know what is subsidy? What is transfer payments? Transfer payments are nothing but the amount that is paid by the government, like pension. Pension is an example of transfer payment by the government. So this net tax payment, okay, in this with all the amount received by the government, that is from that tax amount that has been received by the government. What has to be reduced? Transfer payments, subsidy and then interest payments by the government. Suppose the government has taken any debt, some interest has to be paid by the government. So all these three has to be reduced from the tax amount that has been collected by the government. That is called net tax payment. This is private individuals saving. Okay, this is private consumption expenditures, and this plus RF is nothing but transfer payments to the foreigners, like donations given to the foreigners or donations received by the foreigners, or together it is RF. This aggregate supply function, it is an increasing function. When employment increases, this increases, that is the level of output increases. So aggregate supply is nothing but the amount received by the entrepreneurs by sale of goods and services. It is nothing but the national product. It is the national income. Z curve is linear where money wages remains fixed, whereas Z1 is non-linear since wage rate increases with the employment. When full employment level of NF is reached, it is impossible to increase output by employing more men. So aggregate supply curve becomes inelastic. The capital stock is often fixed and hence the law of diminishing marginal returns takes place as more workers are employed. So based upon this, the aggregate supply curve can be expected to slope upwards. In reality, the aggregate supply curve will be like Z1 only. Therefore, aggregate supply depends on the relationship between price and wages. If prices are high and wages are low, the producers will try to employ more number of laborers. If prices are low and wages are high, investment will be curtailed, so output will fall and there will be a reduction in the productive capacity. So thus aggregate supply is an important factor in determining the level of economic activity. Now how this employment is determined? This aggregate demand function, we have seen that it is an increasing in the beginning and then decreases. So aggregate supply function is an increasing function. When employment increases, what happen? Income also increases. Okay, so this is a point, that is ON1 is the employment level where the profit, that is M1 minus R1 is considered as the profit to the entrepreneurs. When there is more profit to the entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs would like to employ more laborers. Okay, by employing more laborers, output increases. So where aggregate demand intersects with aggregate supply, this level of employment is fixed. This is the optimum level of employment for the economy. After reaching this point, if the employees employ laborers, then they are considered as underemployed or unemployed. From point N0 to this point NF is unemployment. Okay, it is because aggregate demand starts falling. That means people don't spend money. Okay, output is produced. It has come to the market. Okay, but entrepreneurs don't receive income for the output they have produced. So this is a full employment level. Okay, but all the economy cannot reach full employment. That's what Keynes says, isn't it? So this is the level of employment that is determined in the country. A function starting at it increases in the beginning and increases at a decreasing rate. This is aggregate supply function. So here we are seeing two diagrams, that is Z and Z1. This is a linear one, this is non-linear one. Okay, this shows aggregate supply function at a fixed money wage, and this is aggregate supply function at a variable money wage. Z1 is aggregate supply function at variable money wage. Z is aggregate supply function at a fixed money wage. So here the employment is determined where aggregate demand function intersects with aggregate supply function at ON level of employment. So the aggregate supply is N1 R1, but aggregate demand is M1 N1. So when the demand increases, it is profit to the entrepreneurs. So what is the profit? M1 R1 is considered as profit to the entrepreneurs. In order to get more profit, they keep on employing more laborers. So this employment level will be stopped at this point. It is because more than this point, if he employs number of laborers, okay, aggregate demand falls from this point of equilibrium. So this shows loss to the entrepreneurs. Okay, supply increases but demand falls. This is a loss to the entrepreneurs. So even if he employs more laborers, this is considered as a level of employment underemployed. We can call it unemployment level. To sum up, we can say that Keynes has used the term effective demand in order to determine the level of employment. So effective demand is equal to the point at which aggregate demand function intersects with the aggregate supply function. So what is this aggregate? This is consumption demand, investment demand, government expenditure, and this net exports X minus M. AD is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. This is aggregate supply. Okay, aggregate supply is equal to consumption plus saving plus tax payments plus this one is transfer payments that has been received by foreigners. Okay, yeah? Yes, clear? Thank you.